Hello friends, welcome to my new data structures and algorithms in Java tutorial series video. Friends, in this tutorial we will discuss how to insert node at the beginning of a singly linked list in Java. So friends, here you can see below is the algorithm to insert a node at the beginning of a singly linked list in Java. Friends, let's suppose initially singly linked list is empty. Therefore when singly linked list is empty, we know that head points to null because there are no nodes into the singly linked list. So friend, let's suppose we want to insert a node into a singly linked list whose data is 11. So we pass in a value to this method, let's say 11. Now we want to insert this node at the beginning of a singly linked list. So here is the algorithm for it. So let's see the demonstration of this algorithm step by step. So when we call this method, we pass in the value as 11. So friend, as we want to insert this node at the beginning of a singly linked list, what we do is first we actually create this new node. And in our previous tutorial we also saw that how we can create a new list node. We usually create a new list node by passing in the value into the constructor. So here a new list node will be created by name new node whose value will be 11. So it would look something like this. So here you can see the new node is pointing to this list node whose data is 11 and whose next is pointing to null. So friends, now we want to insert this new node to the beginning of this singly linked list where currently head is pointing to null. So in the next step, so friends, as you want to insert this new node to the beginning of this singly linked list, we know that head always points to first node, and if we want to insert the node to the beginning, then we are inserting the node just before the head. So in the first step what we do is currently new node next points to null. We assign the value of head to new node's next. So it would look something like this. That as head is pointing to null, new node next is also pointing to null. And friends, here you can see as head is the first node, we are inserting it just before that. So in order to insert this node just before the head, we have to point new node next to head. Moving ahead. So in the last step what we do is as we have inserted this node at the beginning of the singly linked list, we know that now head should point to this node because we know that head points to the first node of a singly linked list. So we simply assign the value of new node to head. So currently head points to null and new node points to this list node. So therefore now head will point to this list node. So it would look something like this. So friend, after we have inserted this new list node to the beginning of the singly linked list, now our singly linked list has this one node. Now let's suppose we want to insert one more node having value as 8. So we call this algorithm again. In the first step we simply create a new list node by passing in the value as 8. So it would look something like this. That new node is pointing to a list node having data as 8 and whose next is pointing to null. So friends, now we want to insert this new node at the beginning of this singly linked list. So by that we mean that we want to insert this node just before the head. So in order to insert this new node just before the head, there has to be some link between these two. So in the next step what we do is, as new node next is pointing to null, we simply assign the value of head to new node's next. So it would look something like this. That new node next now points to head, and which also makes sense because we are inserting this new node at the beginning of the singly linked list, which is nothing but just before the head. Moving ahead. And the last step what we do is as we have inserted this new node in the beginning, head should point to this node. So we simply assign the value of new node to head. So it would look something like this. So friends, after we insert this new node having the data as 8, the linked list has now 2 nodes. And here you can also see that whatever the node is inserted, it is now at the beginning of this singly linked list. So friends, let's suppose we insert one more node to this singly linked list with a value as 1. So this algorithm again get executed. In the first step, we'll create a new list node. So it would look something like this. The new node is pointing to a list node having data as 1 and whose next is pointing to null. Moving ahead, as we want to insert this new node at the beginning of the singly linked list, we have to make a connection from this node to the head node, because we want to insert it just before the head. So what we do is, whatever the value is there in the head, we simply assign it to new nodes next. So here you can see head is pointing to a node having data as 8 and new nodes next is pointing to null. So now new node next will point to a node having data as 8. Moving ahead, and as we have inserted this new node at the beginning of this singly linked list, we know that head should point to this node now. So we simply assign the value of new node, which is nothing but the node having data as 1, to head. So it would look something like this. So friends, here we saw the demonstration of this algorithm by inserting 3 nodes at the beginning of the singly linked list. First we inserted 11, which became the first node of the singly linked list. Then we inserted 8 and then we inserted 1. So friends, now let's go to Eclipse and see the working of this code.